हॅलो.
हॅलो.
हा सुरू करा.
गाडगे सर.
हॅलो. गाडगे नाही आलं.
गाडगे सर. गाडगे सर.
कुंभार सर.
बोला.
आवाज येते का माझा?
माझा येतोय का?
आवाज येते?
येतोय की. माझा येतोय का? गाडगे सर.
हा येतोय येतोय.
गाडगे सर.
गाडगे सर काय अजून आले नाही वाटत. दिसणार नाही येतात.
अंदे मॅडम म्यूट करा.
म्यूटच केलेली आहे की.
गाडगे सर. हॅलो.
हॅलो. मी सांगतो. सर झाले जॉईन केलं. हॅलो. हॅलो बाय.
Hello, Gadge sir. Good morning.
Very good morning, Raut sir. I think Nitin is not yet connected. Let me call him.
Okay.
गाडगे सर. गाडगे सर.
Okay. हा यस सर. आवाज येतोय?
हा सर तुमचा येतोय पण सर नाही आले अजून.
हा सांगितलंय मी येत आहेत एक.
हॅलो गाडगे सर.
हा यस सर.
ते पीपीटी करणार आहे. पीपीटी प्रेझेंटेशन.
नाही पीपीटी नाही, फक्त प्रेझेंटेशन असेल. आणि आपलं सांगितलं ठरल्याप्रमाणे इट विल बी फॉलोड बाय क्वेश्चन आन्सर सेशन.
ओके रुपेश.
Okay, that is a very good practice, Gadge sir.
थँक्यू.
You are taking only presentation.
Yes, sir.
Rupesh sir,
So near about 35 participants have joined now.
Hello.
Rupesh Tangsai sir, good
Hello,
morning.
Kumbar sir. Very good morning. Hello.
हा
Very good morning.
व्हिडिओ ऑन करा की.
Good morning, Gadge sir.
Very good morning, sir. Very good morning. We are just waiting for the presenter. He has not yet joined.
Viju, Viju, I have joined. Hello, Viju. Hello,
Yes, Nitin.
Viju, I have joined.
Hello. कुंभार सर.
हा
हॅलो.
हा बोला.
बाकीच्या लोकांना जरा म्यूट करता का? येस. Yes, Nitin.
सर म्यूट केले.
Okay, sir. So shall we start now?
सर पण नितीन sir
Yes,
आहे ना.
Gadge sir.
Patil sir, shall we start? Are you ready?
हॅलो.
Patil sir is not there. I
कुंभार
think.
sir.
हा
Yes,
पाटील
yes,
sir
I am
नाही,
ready.
कनेक्ट नाही झाले.
Viju, I am
Yes,
ready.
he is ready.
Okay.
I'm
Good
ready.
morning,
Okay.
Nitin Patil sir.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Okay, we are eagerly waiting for you.
Same here.
Okay, then Kumbar sir, shall I start now?
हा सर. येस.
Okay. A very, very good morning to everybody. Today, Shankarrao Jagtap Arts and Commerce College, Wagholi, Department of English is organizing a webinar on revisiting Nemade's nativism. The very purpose of organizing this webinar is to understand the basic concept of nativism, which has been popularized, forwarded by Mr. Nemade. The literary and critical talent and prowess of Bhalchandra Nemade is now universally acknowledged, and therefore his extraordinary zeal, his pursuit in practicing and popularizing this nativism is unparalleled in India. He is a novelist, poet, critic. This webinar is an attempt, a small attempt to understand the very concept of nativism and its various implications and even ramifications, enunciated by Bhalchandra Nemade himself. This webinar is also an attempt to understand why nativism is so crucial to not only art and literature, but also to the overall social and cultural life of our society and nation. And for this webinar, we have invited an esteemed resource person today. Let me introduce him today, Mr. Nitin Patil, who is presently working as an assistant professor at Pratap College, Ammalner. Am I audible to everybody?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So let me introduce today's resource person, Professor Nitin Patil sir. He has been working as an assistant professor at Pratap College, Ambalner since last more than 10 years. He has registered himself as an external student for PhD program at JNU New Delhi. He completed his graduation and post-graduation from Pratap College, Ambalner itself. As far as his academic honors are concerned, he is, just a minute. He is a visiting fellow at School of Criticism and Theory, Cornell University, USA, from June 12 to 1st of August 2017. There is a long list of his resume, but I will just highlight a few of the important things. He gave a talk titled "The Poet and Mahatma" in Department of Comparative Literature at Cornell University, USA. He also delivered a talk titled "The Politics of Untranslatability" at New York University, New York. He also gave a talk at Columbia University, New York, and Ithaca Community College. He was invited to give a plenary talk in an international conference on modern literary theories at Aurangabad Theory After Theory. He has also delivered a keynote address in a national level conference at PK Koteka College, Bhusawal, Indian English Novel after 1990. He also gave 3 lectures on postmodern theories on narrative at HRDC Jaipur University. And he stood first in national level entrance test for PhD program conducted by Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi in 2012. Apart from this, he has been elected as a secretary of North Maharashtra University English Teachers Association. He worked on that post from 2011 to 2014. He has been a participant for master classes by Professor Gayatri Sphyak on Fana J.M. Kuzi at University of Pune in May 2012. He is also was selected as a participant for theory practice course at Kottayam conducted by a forum on contemporary theory, Vadodara in 2009. And lastly selected as a participant for Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi in 2009. As far as his teaching experience is concerned, he has more than 13 years of teaching experience. Presently, he is working, as I said, in Pratap College, Amalner. He has given so many talks, invited lectures at different conferences, seminars, workshops all over India. So, without taking too much of time, I request today's resource person, Nitin Patil sir, to take over the charge. Over to Nitin Patil sir.
Okay, thank you, Viju. Am I audible?
Yes,
Just
sir.
wave at me and then.
yes,
yeah,
yes,
okay.
you are.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
you are audible.
And
Yes.
yeah. And there was that confusion regarding the medium. So
Yeah.
English or bilingual?
I think most of the participants they will be comfortable in English. So we'll have your
Okay.
presentation in English, and then we can switch over to Marathi for question
Okay.
answer
Fine.
session.
Fine by me. Okay. So first of all, thank you for this extremely generous introduction. Vijay is a friend from Pune University, and as the old saying goes, that friends are very generous. So whatever he said about me, you should take it with pinch of salt. So that is something which I wanted to make clear at the very outset. Secondly, I'm very grateful to Vijay's College for giving me this wonderful opportunity. So I hope all of us who have joined for this online session, I think you all are safe, your family members are safe. Stay home, stay safe. That is the mantra today. And without further ado, let me go back. Let's go to the topic which we have chosen today. The title of this talk is Revisiting Nemade's Nativism. This was actually a demand from Professor Vijay Gadge, that I should speak on Nemade and nativism. Before I move on to the concept of nativism, let me expand a little bit on the title of my talk, Revisiting Nemade's Nativism. Why revisiting, and why this particular theory? So let me tell you a few things regarding this. Bhalachandra Nemade, as we all know, Dr. Bhalachandra Nemade, as we all know, has been a very important voice in Indian literary scenario. And I always keep saying this, and I think most of you will agree with whatever I have to say about, whatever I'm going to say, and that is, you may love Nemade, you may hate Nemade, but you cannot avoid Nemade. I mean, there are people who absolutely adore, Nemade's writings, Nemade's views. And there are people who are absolutely, critical of his views, his writings, whatever. So we should neither belong, we should not belong to, any of these camps. We should try to have a critical look at Nemade's nativism. So why is he so important? He is very important because if you look at the Indian literary scenario for last 50 years, you would see that there have been very few original voices who have had to say something very important to us, and Nemade is certainly one of them. Now, why am I revisiting in a very colloquial sense of the term? Nemade, as we all know, proposed his theory of nativism way back in the 1980. 1980s was the decade of nativism. I think for the first time he proposed this idea at that institute at Mysore called Dhvanyalok. And when he presented a paper in one of the conferences organized by those people, it was heavily criticized. I mean, R.K. Narayan was in the audience, C.D. Narasimha was in the audience, and it was heavily criticized. But Nemade did not budge from his position, and he kept on enunciating his views on this particular topic, and he's been doing so. I mean, and in this particular talk, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a recap of what he has said, let us say from that 1980 paper, which is published in Tika Swayamvar in 1990. The title of that paper is Sahityatil Deshiyata, Nativism in Literature. And from that particular paper till, let us say, the latest is actually a book which was published by Indian Institute of Advanced Studies, Shimla, where he was a national fellow and he gave 4 lectures. And this, the title of those 4 lectures, I mean, it came out as a book, and the title of that book is Nativism. So what exactly is this idea of nativism? So I'll be relying very heavily on that first essay which he wrote about this. So what exactly is nativism? So nativism, as it is translated into Marathi, is Deshivad. Now, in that particular essay, Nemade actually makes distinction between certain concepts like Deshi, Deshipana, Deshiyata, and Deshivad. And unfortunately, Deshiyata, when it was translated into English, that essay was translated by Dr. Makarand Paranjpe, and because there were some semantic problems regarding the concept, and that is why he translated Deshivad and Deshiyata as nativism. So what exactly is this? This is a theory which believes, or Nemade is of the view, that any particular work of art or any particular system of thought, it is connected with your lived experiences and with your geographical, cultural, political reality. And it comes out of that, and that is why as an artist, as a thinker, you should be always connected to that geographical location you inhabit, or that cultural space which you inhabit. That is exactly what nativism is, that idea is. I know I'm making sweeping generalizations, but if you people ask this, if I'm not able to make myself clear, then you can always ask certain questions in question and answer session, and I'll be more than happy to take your questions. Now, if nativism simply means being connected to one's roots, being connected to one's, let us say, socio-cultural, political space which one inhabits, then why do we need it? Are we not connected to that? Are we not part of that? Do we not inhabit that space? Now here, Nemade's genius, separates him from majority of Indian thinkers, and that is Nemade, when he started propounding this theory of nativism in the 1980s, what kind of India it was, now please remember that there are two factors which we need to take into account. One is that we were a colonized society which became decolonized in 1947. This was number one. Now what is about the process of colonialism? The process of colonialism has completely changed our intellectual makeup. It has deracinated us from our roots, and that is why there is a need to go back to one's roots. Now, I don't know how many of you are connected with Pune University. I don't know how many of you have done your PGs from Pune University, but if you have, then we had a wonderful teacher, Professor Aniket Zaure, who was very critical of nativism, and he always used to say that whatever problems are created by colonialism and colonization, problems in terms of thinking, problems in terms of culture, problems in terms of politics, post-colonial theory has better answers to these problems than nativism is. I would like to differ from Professor Zaure's proposition in this regard, because to my mind, and please remember, I mean, Viju can vouch for this, and so many of my friends can vouch for this. I am very keen on theory. I keep reading Western philosophers, Western thinkers. It's not as if that I'm going to disown them, discredit them. But the problem with post-colonial theory is that it takes certain things for granted. It doesn't try to question those things. Now, please remember, we all of us must have read that wonderful book by Gauri Vishwanathan called The Masks of Conquest. Colonialism, or the process of colonization, was not just a political reality. It was a political reality in one way, but it has gone deeper than that. Now, here, some people may ask me this question that, this particular geographical entity called as India or Bharatvarsh or Hindustan, call it whatever you like, has been subject to all kinds of aggressions. People have kept coming to this particular country, have conquered this country in one way or the other. But there is a difference between, and a very important difference between the previous, let us say, aggressions and the experience of colonization. Why? Because people who have attacked this particular land since the days immemorial have come and have settled here, and they have become part of this polysystem called as Indian culture. On the other hand, the English never became part of this particular reality. I mean, we all know that infamous, I should say, minute on Indian education by Macaulay. The very purpose of giving English education to Indians was, and I'm almost quoting Macaulay verbatim. He said that if we give English education to the natives, there were two claims. The first claim was that he said that there is no knowledge in Indian languages, Persian, Sanskrit, and other Indian languages. Please remember one thing, look at the colonial arrogance. Macaulay did not know single Indian language, and still he could say that Indian languages don't have sufficient systems of knowledge or knowledge worth its salt. This was point number one. And point number two, which is more dangerous, which we should be aware of. And he said that if we give English education to the people here, or if we give English education to the natives, then we will be able to create a class which will be English in test and TASTE, test and thinking, and Indian only in color. So the very purpose of English education, when it was imparted to Indians, was to colonize us intellectually. And because this was a very strange experience for the people who were living here. Now there are generations and generations which are brought up on that mental let us say apparatus, or that let us say paradigm, and because of that, you meet anybody and you ask them, give me the names of 5 Indian authors, and that person will, especially from English department, then that person will keep thinking. But if you ask that person that give me 5 names of English writers, will be promptly given. Instead of 5, 10 names will come out of him. And so that is a problem. I mean, we have forgotten our own traditions. We have forgotten our own legacy, cultural legacy as such. And Nemade was, remember, he was growing up in 1950s. He was born in 1938. So the generation which was growing up in 1950s and 60s, when they were, they wanted to create something new. They wanted models. This was a very creative generation. This is the generation of, if we talk about Marathi literature, then Chitre, Nemade, Kolatkar, Sarang, and so many, Bhavupadhyay, and so many of them. In Hindi, Mukti Bodh and company, everywhere you would find that in 60s, this was a very creative generation which was struggling with the ways of expression. And when it comes to cinema, it was the decade of Satyajit Ray. And that incidentally reminds me of a very interesting incident. Satyajit Ray, before he became filmmaker, he was actually living in Kolkata and was running a film society. He was very, very, very critical of Indian movies of that time. And in 1940s, I think 48 or 49, a very famous French filmmaker, his name is Jean Renoir, R-E-N-O-I-R, Jean Renoir, the Grand Illusion and The Rules of the Game, that great director. He had come to Kolkata because he wanted to shoot his film in India, and the title of that movie was River. And Satyajit Ray, being a young man, he came into contact with this director, and he was helping him regarding, let us say, site hunting, so location hunting. And as Satyajit Ray and Renoir were walking in some of the areas of Kolkata, Renoir was actually giving some very important lessons to Ray, and he said that, see, and they were actually passing by a garden in front of a house, and there were some very beautiful looking decorated flowers. And Renoir told Ray, he said that, look at these flowers, these are beautiful flowers, but I have these flowers in my garden in Paris, I have these flowers in my garden in California. And then he said that, and then he actually attracted Ray's attention to a particular reality. And he said that, look at that banana tree. And there was a banana tree, and by the banana tree, there was a pond of the water, and it has become almost greenish because of algae. And he said that you don't have that in Paris, and you don't have that in California. And this is Bengal, and this is fantastic. Now, this, remember, a very important lesson was imparted on Satyajit Ray. And look at the movies Satyajit Ray has made, be it Apu Trilogy or any other movie made by Satyajit Ray. Satyajit Ray was greatly influenced by the Western art of movie making, but, he adapted that art in such a way that he could talk about Indian reality in a very distinct way. And that is what the world actually wants to see. That is what the world really appreciates. Now, what has happened because of colonialism and because of the intellectual part of colonization, we people have we have been completely uprooted from our traditions, our experiences, and our reality. Be it food, be it, people have horrible expressions. People say that even their dogs are more intelligent than us. Now, what can you do about this? I mean, we have achieved political decolonization. We, on 15th August 1947, we became independent, but the intellectual decolonization is yet to take place. And that is why Nemade, being a very independent and being a singular critical voice, he started talking about the need of nativism in all kinds of artistic fields and intellectual fields, so that we will be able to achieve that decolonization. Which decolonization? The intellectual decolonization. That is what Nemade was trying to do. That was part number one. Now, I have titled my talk as Revisiting Nemade's Nativism. So Nemade talked about nativism in 1980s. Why do we need nativism today? We need nativism today because there is another phenomenon which is more dangerous than colonialism has taken place in the last 10-15 years, and that is globalization. Now, globalization was supposed to be a phenomenon which was going to facilitate the cultural, economic, political transactions between different cultures and different societies. Now, I would like to request each of us to take a recap of what we have done in last 15 to 20 years. Let us look at our food habits. Our Indian food, is Indian food and and our Indian food habits been incorporated? Have they been transacted globally? When it comes to globalization, we always thought that people will, this will be a transaction on even basis. Whatever is good with them, we will accept it. Whatever is good with us, they will accept. And so this world is going to be, is going to get benefited out of this particular attitude. Now, unfortunately, what has happened? Globalization has become Americanization. Look at everything. A friend of mine who was living in Pune in 1990s, he went to England and came back to Pune in 2007 and 8, and he was not able to recognize Pune at all. He said that now this Pune looks like any other big city or metropolis from, say, America or from, let us say, England. Now, this is something which is really dangerous. Now, this is regarding about the cultural part of it. Now, political, part of it is more dangerous. What happens is the so-called global standards actually become the vehicle, or the so-called global standards become, let us say, a vehicle of hegemonization. For example, if you want to make a movie, for us, the standard is Oscars. Now, what kind of a movie did get Oscar? It was Slumdog Millionaire, which is absolutely, I would say, objectionable movie when it comes to depicting Indian reality. It is a poverty porno, as they would say it. So because of globalization, because of decolonization, what has happened is that we, being once upon a time a colonized society, we have lost confidence in our traditions. We have lost confidence in our intellectual traditions, I should say, and that's the reason why we should go back to nativism. That is why there is a need to go back to our roots. Now, people would say that, and see, this has been a big criticism of Nemade's nativism, that, going back to our roots, going back to our tradition, does it mean that we should bring back Sanskrit? Does it mean that we should bring back the old sati, the tradition of sati and this and that? Anybody who comes up with this kind of, let us say, accusation needs to read Nemade very, very carefully. Nemade, and please remember, be it Nemade or Professor Ganesh Devi. Ganesh Devi has also written that wonderful book called as After Amnesia, which actually ultimately went on to win, Sahitya Academy Award in 1992. Now, even that book talks about the devastating consequences of colonization. Because of colonization, we have completely lost touch with whatever we had to offer or we had to say. Now, please remember, I'll give a very simple example, and that will prove my point. If I ask all of us to buy a pen, and we go to a particular shop, the shop owner has a foreign-made pen, an Indian-made pen. Now, please ask this question to yourself and decide it for yourself, which pen are you going to buy? Now, majority of us will go for ultimately the Western pen. Now, pen should be bought by taking into account two things. How good is it? How good is it means, when it comes to writing, how does it work? Now, it may be so that the Indian pen may not work well. It may be so that the Western pen may not be, work fine. But for us, the choice is always already, I remember also say, always already made. Because of that colonial hangover, we will always say that, oh, the English pen. Oh, this pen and that pen. So this kind of, the predicament which we find ourselves in is very, very dangerous. And that's why, it is, nativism is such an important thing. Now, is nativism completely good, or I mean, there have been criticisms of Nemade's nativism. One of it is, does he want to bring back the old system? Now, if you read both these authors carefully, you would say that they are as critical of our earlier systems as they are critical of the British system. Now, how is it so? Nemade, if you read Nemade's works, you would say that he's very critical of the caste system. He's pretty much critical of the kind of treatment women have received at the hands of the traditional, traditional structures which are present in our culture. But it still gives us some kind of scope to to stand on our own. To stand on our own means, let us have some kind of confidence in what we had achieved. It's not as if that India had not achieved anything in the past. India had achieved tremendous things. For example, I'll give you just one example. When Akbar was ruling in India, Akbar was holding conferences where he brought all people from all religions together, and he was trying to forge a composite Indian identity. And at the same time, if you see what was happening in Europe at that time was Inquisition. Galileo, survived that, but Bruno was actually burnt at the stake. So, because of that, terrible effect of colonialism, what has happened is, we have developed kind of mentality which tells us that we haven't developed anything. And some people jokingly say this, and this is a very cruel joke: what is India's contribution to the world? And the answer is zero. I hope you understand the joke. And zero has a pun on it. Zero means that we gave that decimal zero, plus at the time zero means none. Now, it is not like that. I mean, if we look at our traditions now, why is it so? I mean, why have we come to this kind of mentality? British establishment, in order to legitimize their rule in India, they had to imbibe it on our minds that whatever we were doing, there are two kind of conquests. That is why that Gauri Vishwanathan book is so important, titled The Masks of Conquest. It was not just a political conquest, it was a cultural conquest. The political conquest is very easy. I mean, we also know this, that if you want to enslave somebody, there are two ways of enslaving somebody. One is, the coercive way. Coercive way means, you threaten people with some kind of physical violence and ask them to fall in line. And secondly is that you mentally enslave somebody. You develop a kind of mentality in the other party that I am worthless and you are superior, and then you don't need any kind of coercion. It is exploitation by consent. And unfortunately, that is what has happened in colonialism. They deliberately destroyed our knowledge systems and created such kind of cacophony, let us say, whereby we people, because intellectually we are all made up in that kind of system. And that is why we have come to a kind of conclusion that we didn't do anything substantial. Now please remember here, it's a very delicate path which we have to treat, because there are elements in our society, as they are present in all the societies, for whom the traditional way, the traditional system is important, because they were the beneficiaries of that system. For example, the Brahmanical system in India, for example, the patriarchal society in India, they would always say, oh, Nemade is wonderful, let us bring everything back. But we will fall in that trap. Nativism by these people does not say that we have to accept whatever our cultures had produced blindly. We have to have a kind of critique, and we have to decide as to what things we have to take and what things we have to let go. Now, Nemade is very unique in this regard, because he deliberately takes this position. He realizes this, that this is sometimes a, what should I say, very stubborn position. But you need some kind of, stubbornness required. I'll give that very famous example. In 13th century, when the Persian, when India was ruled by, let us say, Turkish sultanates, Amir Khusro, who was writing in what we call as Hindi today. At that time, it was called as Hindavi. And so the dominant languages of the Mughal court were Persian.